Okay, so I struggled really hard on whether or not I was going to make this video because while I feel like definitely it could help a lot of people, sometimes it's a little tough to be vulnerable on camera, especially when I'm talking to thousands of people that are watching me all around the world. It gets a little bit daunting to think about like, yo dog, I'm about to be vulnerable on camera. So I tried to avoid this one. I even have put an unrealistic like goal on one of my previous Fornever News episodes just because I was like, that's probably not going to even be met, and it wasn't. But ultimately a lot of people said that they wanted this video, and on top of all of that, I feel like this could definitely help a lot of people.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
You may love Tatsuki Fujimoto's manga for other reasons, right? Like Chainsaw Man, you love it because of the epicness, the action, the intensity, the gore, the jokes, the laughs, all of that good stuff. Although there is a depressing element to it to a certain degree as well. And then likewise with Fire Punch, which now that I think about it, geez, like Tatsuki Fujimoto is a very heavy writer. Like Chainsaw Man, it's in Shonen Jump, so he gave you a lot of those really wacky, crazy, cool elements and stuff. But there's a certain level of like depth to it and sadness within it. And then Fire Punch is just, god damn it, like Fire Punch is somewhat Chainsaw Man if you take out all of those jump elements, and it's a roller coaster ride of depression, to be honest with you, with I guess a little bit of the jokes. I forget what's her name that I freaking love, my favorite character with the camera that's recording everything. Like Tatsuki Fujimoto has been that dude, but there's a different level of appreciation and a different level of what he can even offer when you go to his one-shots like Look Back, and in particular the focus of this video, Goodbye Eddie. I also want to stress I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a neurologist, I am not anything of a doctor of sorts. This is just strictly some dude that went through some stuff, is going through some stuff, and trying to relay the information of, hey, reading this really helped me. So please, if you're going to take this information, take it as such. Take it as, yo, Fornev got through some shit with this. Maybe it could help you. Now, in case you ain't here, the author of Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch, Look Back has another one-shot that came out, I want to say a few months ago now at this point, maybe a month ago, somewhere around there, called Goodbye Eddie. And when I first read the synopsis of it, I was like, yeah, I can't read this right now. Because if you've been following me, you know that I've recently taken a few major losses. I lost my sister a few months back, and it was really, really tough for me. It still is tough for me, but there was something about this manga that initially when I read the synopsis, I was like, I can't do this. As much as I'm a Tatsuki Fujimoto fan, as much as I feel Tatsuki Fujimoto is arguably the greatest current mangaka writer, at the very least, from Shueisha and shonen manga, but definitely, like, I was like, I'm a fan of his, but this sounds very heavy. So let's quickly read this so you have an idea of what my mind was like when I first approached even thinking about reading this one. Yuta Ito receives a smartphone for his birthday. Shortly after opening his present, Yuta's terminally ill mother assigns him the task of filming her and compiling a movie about her in the event of her death. After she passes away, Yuta premieres the movie at his school, but is met with heavy derision over his decision to end the film with him running away from an exploding hospital. Bullied and ostracized, Yuta decides to commit by jumping from the roof of his mother's hospital. He's stopped by a girl named Eddie, who reveals she actually loved his movie and urges him to make another one. The two work together to bring this to fruition, alternating between production and marathoning various movies for inspiration and education. They decide on making the movie a semi-documentary about themselves, but with various exaggeration and fictional elements, most prominently the idea of Eddie being a vampire. Yuta and Eddie grow closer as time goes by, until Eddie falls unconscious while the two are playing at a beach. Eddie is revealed to also be terminally ill, like Yuta's mother. A depressed Yuta is discouraged from attempting any more progress on his movie. However, his father encourages him to push forward, while also revealing to the reader that Yuta's mother was actually abusive towards her son and husband. The film she had Yuta make was an attempt to either capitalize on her illness if she survived, or memorialize her in a positive light if she died. Yuta and Eddie complete their movie not long before Eddie passes away. Yuta screens his new movie, which is met with praise this time around. Yuta is later confronted by one of Eddie's friends, and the two admit that Eddie was not the idealized version Yuta filmed and edited for their movie, but both agree they prefer to remember their mutual friend this way. Since then, Yuta spends his time balancing his normal life with his obsession to recut Eddie's movie. Years later, an adult Yuta suffers the loss of his wife, child, and father in a car accident. Losing the will to live, Yuta had decided once more to attempt at the screening room where he and Eddie would marathon movies. Arriving there, Yuta discovers a still alive and youthful Eddie. Eddie reveals that she really is a vampire who repeatedly experiences memory loss caused by cycles of brain death throughout her eternal life. The Eddie from her previous life had left specific instructions for her future incarnations, as well as the movie she and Yuta made to ensure that she always remembers him forever. His will to live restored, Yuta bids farewell to Eddie and nonchalantly leaves as the building screening room was housed in explodes, much like in the ending to his movie about his mother. And if I'm being very honest with you, just reading the entire story synopsis there was really tough. That was really challenging even to reread that again because it's very heavy. But one of the things in life that you probably heard this quote before, but it is 1000% true, and I highly encourage you to go into this one if you're going to read it with this mindset, is face your fears. And one of the reasons why I even read this to begin with was just that. I was like, yo dog, I'm going through it right now. Maybe reading this could do something for me, because I was scared to read this. Like, you know, just hearing a little tiny piece of that when you're experiencing real life stuff is scary. But I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna read this. Let me see what it does for me. And I can only tell you that it kind of helped my life a lot a few weeks ago. Like, being realistic, when you're going through it, and you know what I'm talking about, when you're going through it, it's difficult to even look outside of when you feel like there's a black cloud hanging over you. It feels like it's never going to stop. It feels like this pain is unbearable. A lot of y'all know I lost my fiance 2 years ago in 2020. So it just felt like a roller coaster ride of losses. And while that pain is still there, ultimately, I could tell you after reading this one, and this is not an advertisement, I don't get nothing from telling you this. If anything, the only thing I get is hopefully I can help one or two of you guys. It kind of helped me let a little bit go. Because if I'm being honest with you, I kind of felt like I was almost stuck replaying in my head over and over, thinking about what if I did this? Maybe if I would have. Damn, I'm such a piece of shit because I didn't do this. And reading this kind of helped me to understand sometimes you gotta let go. You know, the way Tatsuki Fujimoto set up these two one-shots, if you read the previous one, Look Back, where it was another one of somebody losing their friend, and it was based off, and it was a tribute to the Kyo Annie fires that went down a few years ago. It just kind of felt like a back-to-back, like sometimes you do gotta look back, absolutely, so you can learn from history. But I felt like Goodbye Eddie allowed me to kind of let a little bit go and understand that, like, yo dog, I can't just keep on replaying that movie. I can't just keep on thinking about how low I feel, how terrible I feel about real life stuff. It's a fascinating read, 200 pages. The very last page is the most impactful, so I highly encourage you, go check it out. Face your fears. Sometimes face your fears, because if it wasn't for that manga, that one shot that I just read a few weeks ago, I felt like I was falling further and further into an abyss of sadness and depression. And that's why I don't really like to even talk about this, because I know a lot of people, they want to escape from that feeling in the real world, and you coming to watch, you know, some ForneverWorld videos or Fornever News or whatever. So I really try my best to like keep it outside of the realm of, you know, the pain that people deal with in the real world. But I feel like this is important. I feel like if even one person was to check this out, maybe it'll give them a little bit of a different perspective. Maybe it'll give them closure. Maybe it'll open their eyes to see that you can't just keep staying stuck. And sometimes you have to look at that mindset of, I choose me. I cannot keep on staying stuck being that. I gotta move on with my life. I got people that are still here that I love and I gotta take care of. And whether you feel it's silly or ridiculous, reading that manga kind of reaffirmed all of those things of you can't fall apart, dog. There's too many people. There's too many people waiting for you. There's too many people that want to see you win. There's too many people you need to help. You may have taken L's. You may have not been able to save everyone. But that doesn't mean that you're not a hero. And that doesn't mean that you can't be a good person. And that doesn't mean you got to stop being a good person. That just means that you got to keep on fighting. The war ain't over. There's still many battles to come. Be strong. You got this. And thank you, Tatsuki Fujimoto, again. Look Back and Goodbye Eddie, I feel like, are two halves of the same whole of you get that experience, maybe it could help you if you're grieving or you're going through something. I felt like this video was important, and people needed to hear this. Go read those if you're going through something. It might help. Have an awesome day, and if you've ever taken anything, peace in. Have peace within. And I know you're probably like, yo, Fornev, that's it? Peace in? You say that every end of a video. Like, I don't know. Sometimes my dork brain just shows up and it's like, yo, dog, you don't know how to freaking do this ending right now. Let me show you how to do it, dork. And it's like, the dork is calling me a dork, and I'm talking to myself. Let me end this video. Have an awesome day, people. I love you.
So just go to